guys, it's Sarah here. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about the new DIOR Backstage face and body makeup. So if you want to see my demo, a review, hear all the details, keep watching. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe before you leave so you don't miss any of my future videos. All right, let's get into it. Okay, first of all, ignore my hands. I self-tanned last night and like totally ignored my hands and then washed them after I was done eating and realized that I probably washed my tanner off, which I did, and now I look ridiculous. So please ignore my hands. Number two, I ordered this foundation and it looked a lot lighter online than it does in person. I have the shade 3N, and so I self-tanned last night to try to match it as much as I could because I've been testing this out, and every time I do it, I'm like, this is so dark. I should have gotten a lighter color. So I tried to self-tan to match as much as I could, but when you see in the demo, it is much darker than my skin. So yeah. I was really excited when I saw this foundation. One, because I love testing out new products, especially foundations. Two, I love the packaging and that it's in a little squeezy tube. Like, I'm obsessed with this packaging. And also, it comes with 1.6 ounces, which is more than most foundations. Most foundations come with 1 ounce, and this retails for $40. So I just felt like it was like a good deal considering it's DIOR. And yeah, so I decided to give it a go. I'm just gonna read the claims of it. I have the Sephora website pulled up, and it says that it is medium coverage and that it's a foundation for the face and body in 40 shades with a natural matte finish and medium buildable coverage that's waterproof and sweat resistant. So I did build this up. You'll see when I am applying it that I was able to build it up with a second layer, and I don't think that it looks cakey. Obviously, I finished the rest of my makeup and I think that it sits on my skin pretty nicely. So those are the claims. 40 shades is amazing for a foundation to come in. I have the shade 3N, which is a neutral undertone shade. Like I said, this is a bit dark for me, so I think I need to switch it for a different shade. But let's jump into me applying it. As you can see, I used my EcoTool sponge. It is my favorite way to apply foundation. I've used a brush with this before, and a brush definitely does give you a more full coverage than the sponge does, but I still prefer the sponge for this foundation. So this blends out really, really nicely. It doesn't dry too quickly, so you do have time to kind of blend it in if you apply it to your entire face before you start blending it out. This is what one layer looks like. Now I'm just going to try to build it up a little bit and do a second layer. I think that this builded really nicely. I don't think that it looks cakey in any areas. It's not like clinging to anything. I think overall it looks pretty good. I wouldn't say that it's natural matte. It left my skin pretty dewy and it almost felt wet until I set it. So I have tried this foundation out. This is the 5th time that I'm wearing it right today when I did my makeup. The first day I wore it, I was walking around downtown and it was pouring rain, and I kept looking at my cousin and I was like, oh my gosh, do I have just like lines of water drops like just streaming down my face, because I was like, this makeup is probably coming off. Even though it says that it's sweat proof and waterproof, I wasn't sure if it really would be, and it did not look bad at all. And especially because it was darker than my skin, I was worried that I'd have like little like more light areas around my face, and I didn't. I looked in the mirror when we got home and I had a sweatshirt on, and so I was kind of like dabbing it so that I didn't have just beads of water, and it did come off on my sweatshirt a little bit, but it did not mess up my makeup at all. I was blown away. So that definitely is a huge plus in my mind. I've worn it for quite a long time throughout the day and it still looks good at the end of the day. I will say that it oxidizes a little bit. Like this, when I first put this on, it looked like it matched my body, I guess, a little better than it does. Now it's looking a little bit darker in person. I think that on the viewfinder it's looking pretty even still, but in person my face definitely looks a little bit darker than my body. So I think that if you are interested in this, maybe go a shade lighter because it will oxidize just a little bit. If you have a lot of active acne, this foundation might not be the foundation for you, just because it is definitely buildable, but I wouldn't say that it's full coverage. I have acne scars, as you guys know, in this area, and it definitely covered them after I built it up a second layer, but it's not like a mask. Like, you can't see a single imperfection. You can still see a little bit through my makeup, which I'm totally okay with that. So I personally really like the coverage, but again, if you're looking for something that is just going to hide everything, then this might not be the foundation for you. This feels really good. It's really light on the skin. It doesn't feel really cakey or heavy. So overall, I'm really impressed with it. I'm glad to have this in my collection. I need to get a lighter shade because this is way too dark for me. But yeah, I recommend it if you are in the market for a new foundation. Alrighty guys, this one was short and sweet. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful for you. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and don't forget to subscribe before you leave so you don't miss any of my future videos. Thanks so much for watching. Bye guys.